Guys, it's been a long time since we've had a chat. I need to get some things off my chest here. There's been a lot of changes. I have not posted for a while. We posted episode 16 of some old footage, but we got a lot more old footage that we never included. We haven't been posting consistently or regularly. Obviously a lot has happened. COVID, we've dealt with this lockdown. We're here in the middle of it in downtown Seattle, and there's been a lot of transitions and changes and hardships and things we've dealt with. I feel like you guys deserve to just see the car running, because all you've been seeing is nothing but build footage, and I just want to get past that. So what we're gonna do is, instead of me continuing to throw old footage into these vlogs I'm now releasing, what I want to do is just take all of it, talk about it a little bit, give you guys an overview, and catch us back up to speed. So first, we had gotten the car back from the dyno, and we couldn't get the car to turn back on. Thought it was a fuel system, so in episode 16 you saw us install the aeromotive fuel system, and we suspected some overheating issues, but I wanted to avoid a leak down test because I was not trying to receive more bad news after all the stuff we had gone through with this E30 build leading up towards trying to get to SEMA. We finally got our Link ECU back from New Zealand. Big thank you to Jason and Mark Panic for, one, hooking me up with this thing, and two, being generous enough to give us a second chance even though we screwed this thing up. I think what happened, our cigarette lighter wiring touched our metal case and shorted out our ignition ground. Cylinder 6, the injector was stuck open. What happened was cylinder 6 was just like dumping fuel, and white smoke was just coming out of the exhaust, which added further confusion to whether we had head gasket failure or not. Do me a favor, paint this so you don't make the same mistake I do. Yeah. The next thing is, if we fast forward, we put on a nice beauty cover. We were trying to get the engine all back together, pretending everything is a-okay, and just focusing on the other little parts of the build that we didn't have a lot of time to tend to. After putting the beauty cover on, we received some parts from Rally Road. Big thanks to Eric. He sent us ICV fittings and hoses, and more importantly, an oil cooler cap, which allowed us to connect our Dash 10 AN lines from Mishimoto, which leads to the front of the car for our Mishimoto oil cooler. This anodized ring actually goes at the bottom with the black O-ring facing down. Taking our rubber gasket, which we've already covered in oil. This is right under here, and then this just slips right over, and you'll be able to clock this in whichever direction. Then you're gonna take your new copper crush washer, place it there. If you double up on these, oil will just spray everywhere. Trust me, I've had it happen to me once before. 6 years ago. Was not fun. Speak. Good boy. Sit. Shake. Okay, install oil cooler. Install oil cooler. That is a really cool addition, and it looked really nice in the front right corner of the car. We got the Link ECU installed, up and running again. We turned the car on, and we were able to get a better look at our coolant temps, and we continued trying to bleed the cooling system over and over again, and temps just continued to rise, and we were torn between thinking this was just a proximity issue because our radiator sits very close to the motor, and not having a big enough fan setup, or again, whether it was a head issue. And on top of that, we were having a little bit of a fueling issue. It sounded kind of off. We went ahead and checked back over our work on the air motive install, and sure enough, when we lifted out the fuel pump from the fuel cell, we actually saw that one of the fittings was a little loose. So after the pickup would suck fuel in, it would spit out the side. So the only way I was able to figure this out was I set up my cell phone, I put a bunch of towels around the fuel cell, and I would prime the system, and you would see fuel just spray out. So we didn't have a constant fuel, or a constant flow of fuel going straight to the fuel rails. It was kind of leaking around. Fixed that issue. Distracted myself a little more from this cooling issue with doing some things we neglected to do. We took off the wide body kit and we're welding up the quarter panels to seal smoke, dirt, and debris from getting into the cabin. And we added the arrow pieces that go onto the LTO kit. It's like the gold, looks like Wolverine claws if you put them on your knuckles. And they go on the front and the back of the car. We got those installed. Went back to address the overheating issue again. We put it back on the computer. We had everything up on the monitor. My friend Kyle came over, and the car's temps still were rising beyond where we were comfortable with. And so once again, I decided to ignore the issue, not do a leak down test, and install a lift in my shop. I'm excited because we've got a change that is about to take place in this garage. I'm heading down to Puyallup to pick up a Max Jack's 2-post lift. Before we actually install these, what we're gonna need to do is take this tire rack and move all that stuff to that back corner, unload that shelf rack, and then we're gonna move this tire machine probably over to the corner. That way we can bring this forward more. Marked our places, spray painted some little circles for where we're gonna drill in. Let's drill these holes. If you go to Home Depot, you pick up a impact cement drill. You get the right size drill bit, drill into the floor, drop in some anchors. Make sure the lift is level. You put a level on top of the lift, put some little washers under it, and then bolt it all down. Got the lift installed. That thing was such a cool addition to have in the shop. Then we decided that we wanted to start competing with the E36, and we wanted a little bit more angle. So we took the SLR Ultra Speed Angle kit from the E30 off and put it on to the E36, and we put our Super Angle kit from the E36 onto the E30, which killed two birds with one stone. The E30 now had better fitment. We put some TE37s on the front, and we were able to actually slam the E30 lower and get a better fitment with less wide control arms. Then we finally decided it was time to do a leak down test. And what we found was kind of what we expected, and it was really upsetting to see. Alright guys, got an update for you here in the garage. Looks like we got more bad news to deal with. Was noticing a lot of moisture under my oil cap. And most of you are familiar with this. Typically that means a couple things. Either you've got moisture in the system, no big deal. You've got a cracked cylinder head, or you've got a blown head gasket. So we went ahead and got cylinder number 3, well, that's the one that we currently have hooked up to a leak down tester, and put some air into the system. Alright, we've got our leak down tester hooked up to cylinder number 3, and we've got some air pressure going into the system. And with the radiator cap disconnected, you can see that we've got some bad news bears right there. Look at that. That is not what you want to see when you put air into your cylinders, okay? So this means one of two things. Either we've got a cracked cylinder head or a bad head gasket. Either way, this head has to come back off and be sent to a machine shop. Really unfortunate, but this is the general nature of cars, dealing with crap. My theory is this head gasket blew on the dyno. We were pushing the car pretty hard, and you know, no hard feelings, but just sucks. Gonna have to pull this head off. You know, this just delays things. I want this car to just be done so I can drive it, you know, but for now, it's just sitting pretty in the shop. That's the update on the E30. Really shitty situation, but it is what it is. Nonetheless, what happened was we did the leak down test, and at cylinder 3, we started seeing bubbles come out of the radiator, which basically communicated to us that either the head gasket had failed at that part of the engine or there was a crack in the head. And sure enough, when we took the head off, there was a small hairline fracture in between. Evan and I have got this valve cover ready to come up and over. This is our first look inside. Yeah, look at that, some creamy milkshake. It looks like peanut butter and vanilla. Why not take advantage of this time to install the rest of the Rally Road parts? Yeah. Here, come bring the camera in really close. Yeah, so right here we've got a little crack. That's a coolant jacket, so oil and coolant,
you can feel the crack too,
are able to seep in through here. And it's so small, but that's all it takes. That was super unfortunate news considering all of the adversity we'd already dealt with from how quickly we put this build together. Fast forward, finally I got some opportunity to put more work into the E30, and we got in touch with SuperTech Performance, and they were super gracious to sponsor us with some awesome goodies for the top end. And we got some +1 oversized valves. We have, it's like nitride covered exhaust valves and Inconel intake valves. Maybe I'm saying that backwards, but we got tons of goodies from SuperTech Performance. We got it all installed and reassembled on a new head that we picked up from a buddy for $100, and C&D Machine Shop finally put everything back together, and we were able to pick up another cut ring head gasket, and that should be in the mail here in 2 days. So we're going to put the head gasket on the block, get the head on the E30, and hopefully we'll be able to drive it again and experience no overheating issues. That's pretty much the update I have for you guys, and really eager and excited to show you guys footage of this car driving. I know at this point it's old news to you, but I think this will be cool for you guys to see nonetheless, and we really want to figure out a conclusion to this build series, and I think it would be appropriate to have some content of the car actually driving. So thanks for sticking through this with us and being patient enough to want to see more of this footage. And yeah, we will, we're gonna keep filming, and yeah. I fucking suck at this shit, Robert. Robert!
What? Filming.
You're taking a long shit there.
Watching YouTube.
best my man.